Welcome to Sunnybrook Smart Learning. Be fun, be smart. Learning is fun, learning is smart. We are in our third episode, Learning Starts at Home, Family Literacy and Environment. And for this program, my guests are Caritza, Joselle, Jap, and Karen. Welcome to the show. Now, these are the factors that influence learning. First is home environment, inborn ability, the second one, the quality of schooling, the child's self-concept, and aspiration. So there are four important factors that influence your learning. The first one being home environment. Can you describe a bit about your home environment, Karen?
In terms of learning, I think previous episode I mentioned that we would have family meetings if there's an issue, and then my dad had this thing that every day we had what we call word of the day. So he would write and draw. He loves to draw. For example, there's a new word. He would put it on the ref.
Wow.
Because the ref is the spot that everybody sees.
So there's a word for the week?
For the day.
For the day.
For the day. So he changes it every day. Sometimes it gets weekly. Depends how busy he is.
So what does your father do?
Oh, my dad is an actuarial scientist. He passed away 11 years ago.
Oh, okay. And your mom is a doctor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So intellectual, the family.
I would love to think so.
So did you learn a word from the medicine because your
It was my dad who took care of it, so I didn't learn any medicine.
But actuarial sciences.
Yes, yes. So I think that's why 3 of my siblings went into, or 2 went into math-related courses and work.
Good.
Yeah. And then I have a sister going to medicine. So because I think my mom is a doctor.
You should go to PhD in education.
I will. See you there.
See you there next
See you
year.
there.
How about Jap? What toys did you play, for example, when you were young?
Ako po, personally, my toys are the environmental things.
Yes.
We used to have mga leaves, mga sticks, ganyan po. We don't have yung mga fancy toys na binibili sa toy stores, wala po. We use marbles, text, if you know text. Goma, rubber. We have
And
that.
you played with the neighbors.
Yes po. And the animals, insects, like salagubang, tutubi.
So natural sciences talaga.
Yes po. That's my environment po when kaya po I consider my child.
Was it in the province or in Manila?
No po, here in Manila. No po. That's why I consider my childhood as one of my most favorite parts of my life.
Right.
Because it's very rich, it's very naturalistic.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yes.
And you love science?
Yes po, I really love it.
That's why you teach science.
Yes. Para pong at a very young age, I already know the concept of metamorphosis. Because in our place, there's parang a small body of water na mayroong mga eggs ng frogs. Tapos nakikita po namin tadpoles na may tumutubo ng mga paa, something like that. So, at a very young age, I know metamorphosis already.
Talaga?
Yeah.
Oh, we cannot spell that word pa. When
Only when we, na.
How about you, Joselle? Can you remember any books that you read at home?
Mostly what we read are religious books. My family is a religious family.
Yeah.
So I'm so familiar with Bible stories. We had little books about Moses, Noah's Ark. So that's what I really remember when I was younger. It's more of the Bible stories books.
Good. I'll give you a test. Caritza, you have siblings ba?
Yes.
What did they talk about usually? You have older siblings, brothers or sisters?
Yes, I have one sister and one brother.
What do they talk about?
When we were kids, well, they usually talk about their subjects and like the things that they learned in school, and they would usually share it to me. So my first memory with my brother, it was him sharing what he learned about chemistry, matter.
Already ang laki ng mga already. So you heard of the word chemistry because of your brother?
Yes. And also my aunt, because we are an extended family.
Correct.
So she was biology and chemistry teacher.
Wow. So you see, if you have relatives who are into sciences, it also affects your love for learning, no? Yeah. So when we look at home environment, there are at least 6 things that are included. The first is expectation of academic standards. Yeah. Did your parents expect you to do well in school?
Yes. Very much.
Puro honor students pa kayo?
Yeah, ako.
Yeah, I think so. I think
High school.
Yeah.
So when you got your report card, honor students kayo, were your parents happy?
Yes.
They
Yes.
expected you to have certain standards. No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you absent in class?
Never.
No, never.
Kahit kung may sakit, go.
Talaga?
Yeah, like yesterday.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, oo. So they have high expectations.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the first important thing about home environments is that parents should have high expectations of their children in school, no? Second is the language model at home. So I believe some of your parents spoke English, but probably some of your parents spoke Filipino. Whether it's Filipino or English, the model, the grammar, the vocabulary should be good, di ba? So that you can imitate and learn the language. So, were you provided good language models at home, for example? Did you watch good children's shows or radio shows that you can hear good English? And then,
Ako, parang,
Yes.
Sesame ba? Did you grow up with Sesame Street?
I'm very good with Filipino. My
Filipino.
father's from Bulacan, so he speaks Filipino well. And I
good.
remember watching shows that are related to Filipino language and Filipino
good,
poetries.
Wow.
At a young
Poetry pa.
age. At a young
Filipino
age.
poetry, wow, sample.
Yes, I have Filipino poetries and when I was
She
young.
writes.
I write.
Yeah, she writes poetry. Yeah.
Back in high school, I am the editorial for literary in Filipino.
Wow, in Filipino. Wow, editorial in Filipino. Wow. Are you going to write your thesis in Filipino? Yes.
Yeah, but it's hard with if it's form, if it's not the creative side of it.
Yeah.
But if I can.
Yeah, this new for me, Yeah, I'm good pala with poetry and Filipino pa. Now, were you, the third thing about environment, home environment is academic guidance. Did your parents tutor you or help you to decide when you were older na what course to take and ganyan? Did they give you guidance regarding your career planning or so on? Jack, what did you learn?
Parang no. Parang hindi po nila ako pinakialaman on what career choice I have. Parang my mother told me na, oh, you choose whatever you want, wherever you are happy. And that's why I chose education po.
Wow.
Yes. Pero po,
who was your model for a teacher? That's why you want to be a teacher.
I think my previous teachers din po, back in elementary. So, my grade 4 teacher, I guess, math teacher, parang she inspired me po to be a teacher because she's very compassionate. Because before, I'm quite good in math.
Wow.
And I was in elementary, but now, of course, hindi na po. Nag-deteriorate.
What was the name of the teacher? You give her a tribute naman. Can you remember?
She's Mrs. Sylvia Eugenio po. I think she's, but I haven't met her na po eh. And I went back to the school.
So, during your time, did you have tutors or not? Not tutors? Or parents were your tutors na, more or less?
No din.
Ayaw?
Sarili lang.
Sarili?
I think like for me, kasi growing up, 5 siblings, and their parents are both working full-time. My mom was a doctor, my dad was also a doctoral scientist. So, even if they want to be there, I guess we spend more time during the weekend. So, during the weekday with homework, it's more of my siblings who were there. So, I think helpful because I'm the 4th.
You're the 4th.
So, I think I benefited the most from that environment.
Yeah, it's a good environment for siblings to be helping each other, di ba? If you're alone, one child, you don't get the advantage of your older sisters helping you, no? And the 4th one is intellectuality. What kinds of books, for example, or conversations, or family activities and exposure did you experience? The intellectuality of a family will affect your lifelong intellectual development as well. So, for example, what kinds of conversations did you experience when you were growing up, Giselle?
I think my family is good with, they're socially intelligent, I think. I remember my dad talking in front of people, with my mom also. So we grew up even sharing after my dad speaks in front. So maybe maybe that's why I'm a
He was a speaker,
teacher.
you're
The sharer. It's for the church also.
for the church,
a family talk, and then he'll give the talk, and then we'll be the sharers.
Yeah, that's where we learn actually this, talking to the public. No?
Yes,
we learn it
maybe
from
that's
the
right.
church. Because he was involved in many church activities.
Yes, probably that's why I took up communication arts after.
Yeah. He was a lay preacher ba? Or
My parents are they serve for family ministries and members of Couples for Christ.
Couples for Christ. So you saw them speaking to the public, and so you like to do the same.
Yes. Also how they like people.
Parang they know how to talk with
Yes.
different kinds of people.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have the more or less the same experience, Caritza, while growing up?
Maybe no.
Your parents, you've not seen them
Because we were-
speaking to other people.
No, because we were raised by our aunt.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were.
So we
But
were
can you
raised-
remember some books that you loved
Oh.
while growing up?
Yeah, I had this particular book. It's a book about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
So, yeah, I really love that, and I still had it even when I was in college. I brought it with me to the university,
Yeah.
and still read it until college.
So yeah, and I'm very blessed to be born in quite an intellectual family. So I was surrounded by books. Even until today, when you go to my study room, it's all books. Masyadong daming books, no? And we have all kinds of books. Philosophy, theology, the Chinese poetry.
Chinese poetry.
When we were young, I didn't experience children's book. I went not to the, to reading very difficult books because
Thesis ka, ganyan Dr.
that's how I think at an early age I already read parang heavy books type now. So yeah, that is important, and I like to give tribute to my parents for that. No? Number 5, work habits. Nako, what is happening in the house will affect the children's time management, sense of time, and so on. No? Did you see your parents or older siblings model good time management and respect for commitment, for example? Now, do they work at certain hours or at random? And even, let me tell you, even domestic chores like cooking and are the meals served on time? Yung ganun, no? This will help you to understand what work habits are. Did you appreciate your parents for that, Karen?
Yes, I think growing up, we didn't have any helper. So 5 kids and my parents working full time. So all of the family chores were distributed among us. So in the morning, my dad would go for a run and then come back at around 5 a.m. And
He went for jogging?
in UP, he would run and then he comes back because he will live near. And he makes sure he gets to prepare breakfast. He's the breakfast person. And then everybody goes out to school and then they go to work. When we come back, my mom is in charge of dinner. And then we're in charge of setting the table, cleaning up, washing the dishes. That's what happens every day. And I think because of that, I knew the concept of no excuses when you work out. They found the time. We didn't have a helper, but it worked. And then on weekends, it's family time.
Wow.
So I had that right now when people ask, can we meet on Sunday? I'm like, I can't on Sunday.
Family
Sunday
time.
is time for myself, time for my family. So I guess that one really affected me.
Right. Yeah.
That
You had
practice.
parents had really good child rearing practices with you.
Oh, I'd like to think so. Congrats.
Yeah. So that's why, as teachers, we were not at the time when we had to visit our students at home, di ba? But some very devoted teachers do that pa. They divide. Like that job. You visit your students at
Yes
home.
po, when they are absent po for consecutive days. I will be visiting them.
Wow.
Pero I had this experience po. I went to my student's house. Pero wala pala silang very good house. So, we met po along the street and we had the meeting there on the gutter. So, yeah, so there you will know talaga their
How the
Yeah.
environment
affects them.
Kasi kung impoverished ang, we are talking about affordances and
Yes.
constraints, no? Kung walang affordances in the environment, it will affect a child's aspirations and so on, no? So that's why it starts at home. The family literacy is very important because at home, parents are their first teachers. Now, considering that these four factors that influence learning, the first one is home environment. The second one is inborn ability. I would like to believe that all of you are born like you already inborn, no? And then you are here at UP. You have a good quality of schooling, right?
Yes.
And of course, your self-concept and aspiration will come from all the factors: the home, the school, the peers, the models you see in the school, no? So there's a movement in the States of family literacy. They use this word to mean bringing reading and writing into the home and making it a family activity. Yeah? So parents who are not giving a child enriched environment, the government will have people to look after that by bringing the reading and the writing to the home so that the child experience books already before they went to school. Even before they go to formal schooling, they should have a chance to look at books and what is writing and so on. So this is a good movement to have even in the Philippines if we have the chance, right? Yeah. So before even children begin school, parents should do the following. Talk to them. Look at the pictures together. Teach sounds. Read books together. Ask questions. Use imagination. Create a storyline. Can you recall when you were young that you had the chance of having experiences with your parents? Can you remember your parents reading to you? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Or hindi.
Ako very vivid yung memory ko. Like, if it's not my mom, I remember my mom reading Snow White, The Seven Dwarfs. And then my dad's favorite is not with the book, but he would, even if medyo matanda na kami, like in grade 1 na, yung this little piggy went to market. And my sister and I were just 2 years apart, so I'll be here, and then my sister will be here, and then we'll be touching our toes. And then doing that. I remember it kasi it's very frequent, so that was our bonding time.
So you dramatized pa the story?
Yeah. And then as kids, pag summer, we don't have anything to do. We would do plays for our parents. So we would reenact like Three Little Pigs.
That's the benefit of having a large family.
Yeah, it's so fun.
You have lots
so
of
much
siblings
fun.
to do this.
Parang there's no day na you don't know what to do. Parang we always had something to do.
Yeah, it is very important that parents use the right sounds in speaking, so the children will learn it well. No? Has any one of you had that recollection, like Karen, of your parents reading or
of siblings?
Yes. Games?
We have Bugtong-Bugtong.
Yes.
That's the usual book that we have at home. We have Bugtong-Bugtong, crossword, so we will gather around and we will share, Bugtong-Bugtong. Hindi tao, hindi hayop, something like that. And we will
Bugtong is riddle, di ba?
Yes, for
riddle.
riddle.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of books that we have at home before.
Very good. Oo. So in Filipino, no?
Yes po, in
Bugtong,
Filipino. We seldom read English books po.
I have a question po, Dr. Gu. It says here that it's really advisable for parents to interact with their children, for them to enjoy, for family literacy. But how about those children who are not exposed to that? Parang, what are the chances na they'll have higher affordances?
Correct. Yeah. Oo. Kasi when they come to school, it was not fair already. Kasi the first 3 or 4 years of the child's upbringing could be completely different. So, that's why the family literacy is making a movement of teachers or even school districts or Rotary clubs to bring the reading to the children, to make a public library very accessible. That's why I was, in one of my classes, I was talking about we cannot find public libraries these days. So where do the children go to read, di ba? At least they can go to the bookstore. They don't have to buy the books, because these days the bookstores have nice
Reading
little
area.
chairs, reading area, and have a chance to read. Yeah.
Just to share po, because my students po, they are struggling readers.
Oo.
Some of them can read, but without comprehension.
Oo.
And I learned that they don't have books at home.
Right.
So right now, I posted on Facebook
Ah.
na maybe you have some books to donate, and many people actually gave me books, children's book.
Really?
Yes,
I'd
parang-
like to donate.
Wow, thank you po.
Lots of because lots of my children are adults na kasi the children.
Then one parent po gave me an almanac. So that's the first time that my students
wow.
yes, and when they were browsing it, one of my students said, "Uy, para tayo nanonood ng movie." So I was like, I think
Wow.
para po sabi ko talaga, they really want to read. But they don't just have materials, the resources.
correct, yeah.
So right now po, before we had just 20 books in our room.
house,
Now we have 61 po.
Wow.
With almanacs, with little
Good.
classic books, Pride and Prejudice they have. So ko,
Talaga?
Pride and Prejudice for kids,
Yeah.
kids. But it was published by Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah, I have
So-
several. In fact, we should ask our audience to donate books to you.
Wow. Everybody.
If they're interested, let me know. I'll give you Job's email address.
Wow,
Yeah,
please.
I think that is a good advocacy, you know,
Yeah.
to bring literacy to the family.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. Did you, for example, when you were playing, were you encouraged to use your imagination? Because we didn't have all these nice, fancy toys, no?
Yes.
I cannot even remember. But you can use one basket and imagine it is something else, or a stick and imagine something else, and so
Yes.
on. And I don't even remember dolls, but we played dolls with the pillow and ganyan. Oo. And then you can make them fly, them talk, and so
Correct.
on, because that will encourage your creativity. So, Giselle, because you write poetry, so were you good at imagination when you were playing? You were,
I remember building houses
with the little
on top of the beds. The
Yeah.
kumot, pillows, and then
Correct,
have a
correct.
house
Yeah.
there.
Oo.
And the role playing,
Oo.
like you're in house cooking, but they're
Right.
cooking.
So
just
we
stuff
use
that we get
whatever materials already
Yeah,
are available.
available.
We don't buy new because too much. If it is the toy is too expensive, and then it's for one use lang.
Correct.
Sometimes parents even lock them in the
Display.
shelf. It's not for playing, because play should be imaginative, you know. Yeah, and now when parents take time to do this, the following, they look at pictures, teach sounds, read books, they are teaching them healthy reading habits for life. Habits for love of reading is set at a very early stage of our life. If you feel books are something that that could make you relax, that will bring you to another world, and so on, then you'd love to read books all your life, no? Because the parents are the kids' first teachers. And parents should not be complaining about their the teachers in their school if they are not doing the job themselves. Because even if homeschooling, of course, parents are their teachers for the whole program, no? But even if your children go to school, you have a job to do pa rin. It's not outsourced to the school. Parents cannot get away from being their kids' teachers, no? Now, for example, because parents teach their child how to navigate the world. Because when we are born, we don't know what about the world. We don't know about that it is so large, that there is America, there is this country, and so on. So you read books to know these places. And then you read books to know about great people, Einstein, and so on. Otherwise, your world is just very small inside the house in your neighborhood. So what the parents should do is not to bring them, if you cannot afford to travel, not that. But you can use books to help them visit these places. And the child's literacy increases as parents become empowered. Because if parents are not confident that they can know how to teach their children, they're not empowered. They're afraid to do anything. They feel they're helpless. Nothing I can do to change the situation. Yeah? So first we have to empower the parents. Yeah? So for you as teachers, you have to empower the parents of your students so that they will be more concerned about their children's improvement in class as well. Now, when parents are empowered, they become active, lifelong participants in their child's education. They're true advocates of the children's education and lifelong planning, right? So, since none of you have are married yet, di ba, no? When you become parents kaya, what will be your ideal home environment that you will provide for your children? Oh, Karen.
I think I have very wonderful memories of my childhood. It was really amazing. Like, maybe not do 5 children, but
Not sure.
but I would like to do that. Like, still give chores to the kids.
That's
because
a
I
good
think
work
that's,
habits.
habit building. As
Right.
in, it's character forming, and I think I will do that. Like having chores assigned, minimal help, and then also the books time,
Mhm.
and then also weekends are for family, or
Yeah.
at least Sundays.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I want. But
So you want to do more or less what your parents did?
yes,
Yeah.
because I think I pretty much turned out well.
Effective naman.
Effective naman. So I would like to do that. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Good. Yeah. So you bring your children to the bookstores to get books
Yes.
instead
or
of.
ask for donation from you. I would like to have your books.
For your children
Yeah.
or for yourself?
Well,
So children should be guided. They should be brought to the bookstore more than to the toy PlayStation or what amusement thing. Yeah, because if all their time is spent playing lang, what do you call those places? Sometimes children went to this
Playhouse.
playhouses. They call playhouse pa these days. So much time and money spent there, not on the books. People these days are so kuripot to buy books. But they are not kuripot when they buy other things. Food, yung ganun, clothes, and even toys. And when we say toys, games, di ba? Video games, right? The reason why good parents bring up good children is from the verse, I'd like this verse too, Proverbs 22:6. It says, "Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it." Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. So there's a right way to go. Hindi lang yung bahala na. Yeah, there's a right way to go, a standard, a rule. And the training should start young. And then, that early training will have long-lasting effect already. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this episode of Sunnybrook Smart Learning. We'll see you again next time.